Hi everyone, it's Angela here, Nerfenstein, and today we are going to look at some EVA foam tips and tricks. I realise that my channel's been quiet recently, haven't even had time to play the new board games that I bought, but I am working on an EVA foam helmet at the moment for somebody for a commission, so I thought I'd show you some tips and tricks with this stuff. Okay, so if you don't know what EVA foam is, or EVA Foam as I like to call it, it's just floor matting. You get it from Kmart or hardware stores or anywhere like that. This is the stuff you're looking for. And you can also get it in the thinner garage flooring. That's already textured, that's pretty cool. And you can get it in craft foam. If you're in America, you can get even more thicknesses than this. To start with, we're just going to do some cutting. Okay, you don't need a saw for cutting EVA foam because it is soft. You just need a sharp knife. Now I just bought this fancy one. Let's check it out and see how well it works. This is brand new, so it should cut through this no problem. And when cutting, you can either cut straight if you're wanting a straight edge, or cut at an angle if you're needing it beveled in a way. So I'll try and do a little bit of a bevel on here. You've got a lovely beveled edge. If you've got a sharp blade, it should come out smooth. If you notice it starts to bubble up, you need to swap your blades or snap your blade back. But that's how easy it is to do an angle cut. Now I may have run through some of these things before, but I'm going to run through them again. If you want to do circles, get some PVC pipe, shave back the edge, and you've got something that you can push in. And you can either do a nice shallow circle if you just want texture, or it will actually cut all the way through. There we go. Pop it out. You've got a fairly smooth circle cut. So you can do those in any size, right up to massive if you need to. So that's a good tip, and that'll work on any thickness, obviously. Next up, drawing designs on your foam. So say we want some sort of speaker type stitch. Get your knife. Use a ruler. I'll do it freehand for the tutorial, but obviously if you're doing this on something that you're going to keep, you'd measure it all out. But this is just for a quick tutorial because I felt bad not putting anything on my channel for ages. It was all board gaming, so I bought so many board games when I was away. And if you're doing joining corners, always try and start in the corner. So say here, I would measure this out, but say that's a corner to there. I'd find the corner and try and get into the corner as much as possible. I think I actually missed that one. Same here. Just do some other little. Okay, so you can see this here. You can only really see it if you pop it out. If we hit that with a heat gun, which I'm hoping might reach. There we go. You can see it pulls itself away from the edges. So now you've got nice, slightly thicker cuts. It's cool for if you want to do detail. You can draw detail in armor or helmets or weapons using that technique. And if you've got an even smaller hobby knife, you can get some really cool detail in there. Okay, next up I'm going to show you how I do venting. I use the hole punch. This thing here. You can get these cheap. Probably just a few dollars. It's just something you hit with a hammer and it puts a small hole, smaller than these will allow. So if you're doing venting, you work out how long you want your venting to be. So say I want it to go from here to here. Get your hole punch. Punch the end of the venting in one end. Things falling off everywhere. This would be neater if I didn't have this, but I put this here so you could see better, ironically. Put another hole in the other end. So you start with your 2 holes. Get your ruler, find the very edge of each hole. Again, you'd be paying a lot of attention if you were doing this for a prop or something. But for this, we can rush it a little. Can we make it to that hole? No. Find the other side of each hole. Pop that out. And there you've got your first vent. So if you're using that for something, and you can just run a whole line of them along. And if you've measured here and here, obviously they'll all be the same length. That's how I did the venting. That's also good for Nerf guns. You can do it on thicker foam and wrap it around and have it be like a grip or whatever you like. Top tip. Okay, what next? Let's try some texture. You can push any kind of texture into EVA Foam, and if it's warm, it will stay there to a degree. So what I'm going to do is try and get some sort of knobbled texture in this. So I'm going to heat this slightly first, and then this. You obviously don't touch the metal if it's hot. There we go. Some nice texture, so if you're making armor or something, and that will stay there. Look good when it's painted up. And as I say, you can use anything. That's just something that I found that had a lot of nice texture on it, different sizes, just a bit greater from the kitchen. If you're using something that's not metal, I don't have anything at the moment, but if I did have, I would heat this, lay whatever the texture was, so let's say it's this, and press it together really firmly, maybe even clamp it down and then take it off. And if it's solid, which that isn't, but if it's solid, it will leave a nice texture as well. Next up, let's do some indents. I'm just going to do a quick circle one because it's easier with this, but you can do them in squares or whatever shape you need. Okay, so there's 2 ways of doing this. One is the all the way through way, which is like this. So you cut your piece out, it can be a square, rectangle, whatever you need to be slightly indented in your armor or whatever, and then push it partially through and glue it in place, and you'll see you get that sort of indented look, which is really cool. And if you want to be really fancy, you can slice off the back, so say that deep, push it through from the back. You need some super glue, glue it in place, and there you have your indent. Or you can do a partial one, which is good for shallow. So push it through but not all the way, and then you can just push it down with your hand, or if you've got something round and flat, even better, push it in there, and then just run a little bit of glue around the outside and it will stay in. And then it's still connected at the back. So like that. And then you've got a shallower indent. Okay, what else have we got? Rivets. If you want to make a fake rivet, a Dremel is your best friend. However, if you haven't got a Dremel, something small and round, like this. Let's pop it in the middle of this one. Just twist it in. So it gives you a small circle. And then just get something pointy, stick it in the middle. Push it down. And there you've got a nice rivet. That'd be neater obviously if I was taking my time, but it gives you the idea. Once that's painted up and you've put silver on it, you're not really going to tell the difference between that or a real one. Top tip, I use real ones. Pop the head off, make a hole, push a real one in. You can't get better than the real thing, but if you're doing it purely in foam, this is the way to go. Okay, last tip for today, I think. Shaping. Raid your kitchen, something to keep your hands nice and safe. Get whatever foam you're using. I'm just going to use this because it's the only bit that I've got. You can use the thicker stuff as well. Heat it with a heat gun. Wear a mask when you're doing that, guys. The fumes that come off are terrible. And punch it into whatever you're trying to shape it into. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of a round shape here. Just jam it in, try and hold it there until it cools a little bit. Do this with any shapes. It's good for pauldrons and things. Knee armor, I guess it might be good for. Now, someone on Facebook asked me what's the best way to make a helmet. I haven't made enough helmets to even begin to give you advice on that. This is a good way to get a nice curve, but this isn't the way that you usually would make a helmet. So I'm going to stick some links in the bottom. I think Tested made a really cool helmet. If you follow that, that would be better than anything I can tell you. Okay, I can feel it starting to cool. Okay, there we go. And it should retain its size. Obviously I've creased it there, but it's rushing. So there you go. And it will retain that once it's dried. You can see that that would be handy for various things. That's it. That's shaping. And you can do that with pretty much any shape. Obviously you might need to do some pleat cuts to get it into certain shapes, but it's good, certainly good for domes and things. Okay, I think that's all the tips that I can think of right now. So the main ones, just running through them quickly. Very, very sharp knife. If you notice that it's starting to bubble when you're cutting, like this, change your blade. Texture, heat the foam and press whatever in. Circle cuts, nice sharpened PVC. Shape cuts, heat the foam and push it into whatever shape and it will retain that shape. Venting, hole punch, straight cuts, that will give you a perfect vent. And heat gun detailing. Cut with a normal knife, hit with a heat gun, and it will open it up wherever you've cut. Oh, and rivets. That's it. I hope that's helped you, and I hope it's answered a few questions about EVA foam. It's great stuff for a cosplay. You can make pretty much anything out of this, and when you've painted it, it will look like whatever it is. I'm thinking of doing a tutorial on how to use EVA foam with Nerf blasters to give them a different aesthetic look, so that they don't look like Nerf when you're using them, but inside it is a Nerf blaster. So that will probably be coming up. Still working on this guy. You may remember from months ago, need to get him done. I've probably got another steampunk one coming up, and of course there'll be more board gaming and geek on my channel. Hope this video has helped you guys. Any questions, just pop them in the comments or over at my Facebook page. And I'll see you all next time. Have fun with your EVA foam. Nerfenstein out.